Alright, what's going on, guys? One of my subscribers asked me to do a comparison of Linux Mint to Ubuntu because they've had issues with Ubuntu. Um, Quick rundown: Linux Mint will include codecs, flash, MP3, DVD by default. That is defaultly installed. There's customized UI. There is a program called Mint Install, which has proprietary applications available such as Skype, Opera, and other programs, and what have you. So, what's my take? Depending on what you're doing, depending on your belief system, is really how you should interpret using Mint versus Ubuntu. Ubuntu tries to toe the line between free, as in beer, and functional, and free as in freedom. Now, it toes the line with things like copyrights, multimedia codecs, and all this other stuff. So, if you really don't give a crap about codecs and the licensing and all the stuff that goes with that, go with Mint. If you want to toe that line and choose, go with Ubuntu. Now, as far as which one would I personally choose, that's kind of up in the air. There are certain things about Ubuntu I like. There are certain things about Mint I like. Mint, I don't have to customize the UI as much to use to my liking. There are certain things that they're just done the way I like them already. But Ubuntu, one of the things I do like is the customization that I have to do. So it's kind of like, do I want one that's done for me already, or do I want to like change up the customizations? And it's really up to you. Do you like customizing your UI from point A to point B, or do you like it at a starting point already, and then you just kind of tweak it as you go? There's really not many problems with Mint. There's not really, I don't know what my particular subscriber's issue with Ubuntu is, but Mint being a derivative of Ubuntu, some issues you might not have with Mint that you do have in Ubuntu, and some of the issues with Mint you might have you won't have in Ubuntu. It's just how the coding goes. Now, someone also asked me what the personal distribution of choice I use, because I advocate for use what works for you. I've shown that I run comps and all this other stuff on my Ubuntu installs. That is true. There are certain aspects on my main machine I use Ubuntu for, and I find that comps is functional on my CPU, my GPU, that comps works just better for what I need it to. That being said, I have a laptop, which is an IBM ThinkPad T43. So it's a 2.13 Pentium mobile processor, single core, gig of RAM, 60 gig, 7200 hard drive. Not the fastest machine in the world, but it functions. I don't need comps on that. I don't need it dragging system resources down when that's the limit of the machine. So instead, I look for lightweight things. You know, people say go with Puppy, go with DSL Linux, Damn Small Linux, and all these other distros. Those might work, but I also like a little bling in my in my distros. And I've been looking around. There's like Flexubuntu, there's Ubuntu, and all these other ones, but they still don't have that panache you're looking for. They're not. There's just not that. They're not different enough. Well, So, what I use is actually one called Moon OS 3 to be exact. And essentially what Moon OS is, it's Linux Mint customized to the Enlightenment 17 environment. Some will argue with the merits of is Enlightenment a desktop environment or a Windows Manager. I'll say it's somewhere in between. There's some things you need the UI for that you can do from the UI. There's some things that you can only do from the CLI, so it's kind of in between the two. So MoonOS includes some of the things that Mint will include, but it's a Debian based package. It's light on the resources, but it's got enough panache and bling that I can still have a nice looking desktop. Some of the things that I do love about MoonOS though, one of the newer additions to KDE not that long ago was the integration of things like kdelook.org into the KDE environment. So when you're looking for new wallpapers and stuff, you can actually do that from within the settings of like changing the wallpapers and get what's available online just by simply telling it to download after you've previewed a select amount. They also make that available within MoonOS, but you can do that from, can't remember the exact address, but it's the Enlightenment version of GNOME Look and KDE Look. And I think it's a cool concept. It's awesome. I love being able to just to browse through themes and wallpapers without having to actually pop open a browser, shift through pages of wallpapers and all this other stuff that you have to do with GNOME. That I love. That's just something that just I love. The customization is so easy on that. Now there are other things that you can do within that environment. So personally for me, MoonOS works. My main machine runs Ubuntu. My laptop runs MoonOS. So again, I reiterate, what works for me does not necessarily work for you. So use what works for you. If you are an RPM fan, you're a Slackware fan, you're a Gentoo fan, use what works for you. Hell, if you're a Windows fan, use Windows. If OS 10 works for you, use OS 10. It's all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of what works for you and what is it you need out of your computing environment.